Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm Gabby, and this is The Mum I Met on Mat Leave, the podcast where we share the highs, lows, and hilarious bits of motherhood.
From newborn chaos to toddler negotiations, we're talking about it all. The stuff no one puts on Instagram.
It's honest, it's unfiltered, and it's our take on navigating mum life together.
So pop in your headphones or your dummy back in and let's get into it.
Hi,
We're back!
We are back! We're back, bitches!
And thankfully, we are not sat on a sofa together, so I don't need to build a pillow wall, and I've got all the space that I want.
Got all the space that you want away from me, which you don't really want. However, it's going to work perfectly for this season because this season is super special because it involves guests.
Other people that are more interesting than us.
Other people that are more interesting than us. And not only that, they're normal people.
Although tonight's guest, however, probably not so normal, but that's good.
We want to get normal people on with real life stories and just show that everything goes, right? Right. So, Emma, shall we begin?
We're about to kick off season 2 with someone really special and super close to our hearts. We've got Gabby's sister Hayley joining us today. Not only is she an amazing mum, but she's also someone whose motherhood journey took a completely unexpected turn when her baby arrived prematurely.
In this episode, we're diving deep into the raw, real, and often overwhelming experience of navigating those early days in NICU, the emotional rollercoaster of having a preemie, and how motherhood has reshaped everything for her. Whether you're currently in the thick of it, know someone who is, or just want to hear a story of strength, love, and sisterhood, you'll want to stick around for this one. Let's get into it. Oh, hi, hey, how are you? Hi. You are really awkward, aren't you?
Really fucking awkward.
It's so
really
nice
awkward.
to have you on. Isn't this lovely?
Just a delight.
Who would have ever thought that we would be on a podcast talking about your premature journey of baby Rocco, who is not a baby anymore? He is now 15 this year.
Yeah, which is why it's weird that you've asked me, because I'm now having to remember things from 15 years ago.
Yeah, but do you think that's like good for you in a way or not?
No.
We'll soon find out.
Okay, so let's jump right in. So
yeah, well, obviously I don't know a lot about it other than the fact that he was born super early. And obviously, I mean, I've got so many questions because
fire away.
We'll be here all night if I ask you all of them. I just want to know, first off, when...
I'm scared.
How old were you when you were pregnant with him?
Too young. 21.
Right, so quite young. Well, especially in today's like society, I guess.
I always say I was supposed to be 22. Never happened.
Okay. Yeah. And so you're 21, you're expecting to have a baby at like 39, 40 weeks. And when did he come?
27 weeks.
Oh my God. So what?
Yeah.
What happened? You went into labour early? Like
what happened? He just came early. That's literally the story. There's no, we never got any answers. I remember coming home from work. I used to teach dance, and I remember like being in a class and thinking like, oh, my back really hurts. Which is weird, isn't it? Because I've got backache tonight. I'm a witch. I remember thinking, oh, my back really hurts. And I thought, I'm just going to get in the bath when I get home. And got in the bath, went to bed. And I remember just like, you know, those sleeps where you're just sort of in and out of your sleep. And I was like, my back's still hurting. Like it's still aching. I didn't know, but that, you know, you can get your contractions through your back. No idea, because obviously I hadn't had any antenatal classes. It was all too early for this. And then I remember thinking, I just need a wee before I go to bed, and got to the toilet, my water's broke in the bathroom.
Like fully, like you see in the films?
Not fully, because by the time I got to the hospital, there was still some water. There was enough water to keep him in. So they actually kept him in for 5 days.
Oh, wow.
But we do need to go a little bit back here, because you were saying things and doing things where you did feel like it wasn't right. Like I remember walking around Brent Cross. Do you remember that?
The day before, and I was like, oh, like my belly feels really low. But the thing is, I'm 5'1", and there isn't a lot of space between like here and there. So I was just like, he's very compact. I thought maybe I'm starting to get Braxton Hicks, like a little bit early, but I just didn't think anything of it.
But I remember when we were walking around Brent Cross, he must have kicked or something, and you literally was like,
jump.
And you were like, I feel like his foot is coming out.
Oh, yeah. So there was that.
Yeah, but I suppose you never think at that time. You're like, well, I'm nowhere near the end. So obviously I'm not in labour. It's not going to come. And then all of a sudden you're...
And can I tell you that I was the worst sister ever, and I will never, ever forgive myself for this. And Hayley knows this, and I have apologised a million times. Because I just...
laughing.
As you say, it's not enough, it's never enough.
I'm joking.
Don't, because this traumatises me. But literally a few hours before Hayley went into labour. So we were living at my mum's at the time, weren't we? So
You're going to lose followers.
Well, because I'm not a nice person.
Be careful.
No, so we were living at my mum's. Hayley had bought a house that was being renovated. So we were all at my mum's house. We were laying on my bed watching TV, and you were really complaining about being pregnant, or not even being pregnant, but just your symptoms.
I'd had the bath. And my back was...
You were in pain, right?
And I was in labour, is what she was in.
Right, but we didn't know this at the time, and I literally turned around and was like, "Oh, hey, you're acting as if you're the only person that's ever been pregnant in your life. Like, get just whatever. You're literally not even properly pregnant yet. Like, you've only just gone past kind of, or not
pregnant yet. Well, little did she know.
Absolutely, but you were like 26 weeks at this point.
Yeah, I think I was maybe like...
It was early 26 because we'll get on to...
because they kept him in for 5 days. Anyway, so that comment has never left
the building. She slammed the door, right? Because obviously she was really pissed off at me, which I 100% get. But
I don't think I answered you though. I think I just got up and walked out.
You did. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up to her screaming in the bathroom that the baby, like, she's in labour.
Did you believe her though, after you told her that she was complaining?
She was like, oh my God, she's acting again.
Over the top of what?
No, so honestly, I remember just being like, because it was in the middle of the night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I walked out of my bedroom and Hayley's partner literally flung himself over the stairs and ran.
I didn't call him though, I called for Mum. I remember screaming, Mum.
Don't, because it gives me, like, it actually makes me...
Yeah. And so then someone called the ambulance, and they were just like, get her on the floor. Can you see the baby's head? And my stepdad was like pacing up and down outside the bathroom because he didn't want to come in. No, he didn't want to come in. So he didn't know what was happening. And my mum was there with towels, and I was just like, oh my, I don't really know. I think after the scream is when I go, and I'm very good at doing this, I went into like survival mode. Like, boom, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
And then, so then from there you went into hospital, and they kept you there for, well, I suppose a long time.
So the story thickens. So I got taken into Watford. One of the ambulance drivers said I probably just wet myself. And then one of the doctors sat down and told me there was like 70% chance that my child would not live. So I was like, oh, this is a good start.
Can we also just remember that you were 21? Like, you're a child yourself. And there are there are professionals. I know they probably have to tell you, but the way that it was all delivered, even the fact of like the paramedic, oh, you probably just wet yourself. Like, no, like there it was quite a situation happening right here.
Yeah, it was like life or death, wasn't it? Literally. And so then what happened was at Watford, because he was 26 and something weeks at this point, Watford don't take premature babies, or they didn't back then, unless they were 28 weeks and over. So they were like calling the nearest hospitals for who had an incubator that would take a baby at 26 weeks. In the meantime, they had to give me steroid injections, which to this day were the most like that. It was that, and my boobs were like the most painful thing at the whole experience. So they give steroid injections to premature babies because they strengthen the lungs, because obviously their lungs aren't fully formed. Thank God they did give those injections, because he actually had chronic lung disease. That he was diagnosed with that when he was born. So anyway, then from Watford, we were put in an ambulance and we were taken up to Ashford in Kent, and that was the nearest bed.
No, so that's like, yeah, that's 2 hours away, right?
Yeah.
And were you on your own in the ambulance?
No, I had my partner at the time with me. So that was fine. Anyway, so then we ended up in Ashford, and they managed to keep him in for another 5 days. They were like monitoring me.
So they've got you there. They're obviously keeping him in on purpose. Why are they keeping him in?
Well, because it's obviously better for him to be in there and keep cooking.
Yeah.
But if there's not enough water surrounding him, or if I get an infection because like some of my waters have gone, then it's effectively more dangerous to keep him in. So they have to weigh up the options. So they monitor you really closely.
At this point, what can you remember is like going through your mind, or is that too far?
I remember just thinking like, he's not ready, like he's going to be deformed. And this just shows actually how young I was. I was like, he's going to come out and like he'll have one ear, or like he won't have any nails yet, or I don't know, whatever it is. Like, he's not ready, like he's not fully formed yet. And I remember the ambulance ride, the ambulance to Watford and to Kent. I was just like, I don't actually know if he's going to live. I don't know if I'm going to come home with a baby, because I'd never heard of this happen to anybody else. I'd never heard of anybody having such a premature, and it happens all the time. And when we were in NICU, there were babies of like 23, 20, I think 24 weeks. That was like and some of them were twins. So you can imagine they are just tiny. And it's
how
surreal.
How much did Rocco weigh when he was born?
2 pounds, 2 ounces, a bag of sugar.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And his head was like a tennis ball, like, wasn't it? It was tiny. And even though you were worried about him being developed, he was pretty developed, right? That he actually, he only didn't have nipples, right?
If he ever watches this back, I mean, he's got them now. You're all good.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
That's my next question. So has he got nipples now?
Yeah. He was fine, and do you know what's so crazy? Like, all the babies in there, like a lot of them were very fair, so like no hair. You could literally see their brains. You could see every single vein. But Rocco had like jet black hair, and actually all over his shoulders, all over his back, because the hair hadn't come off yet. And his skin, he was pink. He was like tanned. So he looked completely different. to like the other prem babies in there, and I was like, is this something wrong? Like, should he have this? I just didn't know. It was wild.
And with the birth, was it like did they basically say that's enough time now, we need to pull him out, or did he come out when he was ready?
The doctors would do like examinations a couple of times a day. I'm literally traumatized by that whole experience. Actually, not so much now, but I would say until about like 3 or 4 years ago. My waters literally broke on a doctor's face.
Nice. Lucky doctor.
Yeah. And it I was just, having all like examination after like blood test, cannulas everywhere. I was just like, what is happening? And I remember he was like, okay, we've got to go now. And I was just like, okay, here we go. And that was it. Rushed down.
We got a phone call to just be like, okay, guys, you need to make your way because Hayley's gone down for a C-section. And obviously when she comes up, we really need you there. And it was the most surreal thing, right? So John was at the house and he was like, okay, I'm leaving now. And my mom looked at him and went, you are part of the family and you are coming with. And he was like, oh my God, okay. To make it even more weird and fucked up, my parents are divorced. We all met because we weren't able to go to the hospital until Hayley was out and recovered. So we all met and went for a lovely pub lunch. So this is my mum, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom, my nan and pop, and me and John having this pub lunch.
Listen, Rocco was the start of a brilliant blended family.
Absolutely. It was incredible because all we were thinking about was obviously Hayley at this point. And there, like, thankfully there's no bad blood between our parents, so everything was just kind of whatever, we're just going to sit here and wait until we get the call to say that we can go to the hospital, and at least we're nearby. So it took about 2 hours to get to the hospital, and then when we were there, we obviously had to wait in this pub until we get the phone call to say that Hayley's out, and then we get there. And am I correct in saying that you just had a Polaroid picture of him? You weren't allowed to see him yet?
Yeah, so what happens is with a prem baby, well, or a sick baby, they have to take them straight away, obviously. But with a prem baby, they wrap them in like foil or a bag because they need to keep the heat. They need to keep the heat and they need to get him in an incubator and they need to get oxygen into them quickly. So I just remember like this bag, like them swinging this bag towards me as like, here he is, and then gone. And they must have taken a picture on his way up to NICU because that's the first I saw of him. The first time I saw Rocco was when I was in a side room somewhere in a hospital in Kent. And somebody who I can't remember brought me a picture. And I remember going, I don't want to look. I don't want to see it. I can't look. And I remember Mum going, no, he's gorgeous. He's amazing. He's fine. And do you know what makes me really sad? I can't find that picture.
No way.
I've got a whole box. I've got his baby grows. I've got his little footprints. They do footprints of them in the incubator with like, and the nurses write little notes like from
like the tiniest footprints ever.
Like, I promise you, like that.
Oh, I wish you would have got his box out and you could have shown us some of the things.
I'll go and get him to get his box. He knows where it is. But that upsets me so much. I cannot find that picture anywhere. And I hope one day when I move house and I go up into the loft and I look through it, just there. Like, I pray.
Because we all saw the picture before you because you didn't want to look. And then I think once we said, no, he's fine, I actually feel like me and John maybe went and saw him before you even saw him.
All went. I think you were allowed down to see him before me because I'd had the C-section. I couldn't move. I had to wait until the anaesthetic has worn off.
So how long was it between him being born and you seeing him?
I'd say maybe 6 hours. I think he was born was he born at night?
No, it was in the morning. Because we got him about 9 o'clock. We got the phone call about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I didn't see him until the evening. I remember it being dark outside. Yeah.
It's just mad.
It is mad. It's
scary. Like, going back, I know it's 15 years ago, but going back, because obviously some of these feelings and everything's going to be like so raw for you, but it's just so interesting to hear. But
it's not raw. I feel like I'm talking about somebody, like it's a dream.
Yeah.
Or I'm talking about somebody else. It's so weird.
But what was the support like in NICU? So you've had Rocco. You haven't seen him now for 6 8 hours. You get wheeled into NICU. Tell us, like, what do you see?
It's like something out of a movie. There's like incubators everywhere. There's like the doo-doo, like the machines with the beeping, and the babies flinch a lot and that's, you know, in the womb you feel them kick, and so there's all these babies and you can see like limbs everywhere, and it's like what. And I just remember feeling really nervous, like surely they're not supposed to be doing that, or is that going to hurt him?
And he used to kick his legs a lot. Like Rocco's legs, I remember, they were always moving.
Yeah, well, he kicked his way out of my womb. But the support was amazing. Most of the nurses are Filipino and they literally work like night and day. And they take care of your babies like when you can't take care of them. And you physically can't take care of them. Because firstly, for those of you that have had cesareans, you'll know, like you can't move for quite a while when at least sort of, you know, with Rocco, because he came so early, my belly wasn't even really stretched yet. So my muscles were still really tight. So it's not only because you've had the C-section, but also because your baby has to be in an incubator. Your baby is on all of these wires. And so you're not allowed. And I don't think he was actually allowed out of the incubator for 10 days. So I didn't get to hold him.
So you just looked at him for 10 whole days.
You could stroke him. Could you not stroke him through, or like have...
So, and this is so crazy because this is like, even now, they tell you not to stroke them because if that tickles or agitates them, it can raise their heartbeat, or if their lungs aren't strong. So they tell you just to hold them still. So like cup their heads, or like just put your hands on their belly just so that they know you're there. And I remember that. And do you know what? Rocco is the most still sleeper. He sleeps, like he does not move, he doesn't fidget. And even now, and I don't know whether I used to be like this, but even if like someone's like that to me, I'm like, just hold still.
Maybe that's where it all stems from.
Who knows?
Strange.
Did you
know Gab was just asking about support from like the hospital, but what about like emotional support from them? I know again we're talking 15 years ago, so it's probably different now. Was there much of that there, like as in from like doctors and nurses, and I'm talking more like the NHS rather than friends and family?
No, I mean I had a nurse. Yeah, I did have a nurse. So we had a nurse that would come to the house once he'd left, and he didn't leave hospital until his due date. So he actually stayed in hospital for 3 months. Different hospitals. He got moved twice. So a nurse that would come once a week or every couple of days for like the first 3 or 4 weeks after he'd left hospital. So by this point he was 3 months, but that was more support you know, making sure we were giving him his meds, making sure his oxygen, you know, was at the right level, or if it needed to be topped up or whatever it was. No, there was no emotional support. And I actually didn't have any therapy about any of that.
Wow.
All the therapy I've had in all these years, and never about that.
This is like a therapy session sometimes, this podcast. But no, with that then, obviously the support from them wasn't the best. But what about people around you, like emotional or practical? I mean, I'm assuming you got I imagine you got loads from your family from knowing them. But like, what do you think actually? Thinking about it today, like, what do you think is the best bit of support that you got at that time?
Living with my mum, I don't think I could have done 3 months with a baby in hospital, knowing the ways that the nurses do it, and and then all of a sudden there are no nurses and there are no machines and there's no like, quick, ring the bell, like his heart rate is dropping or his oxygen levels are too low. And so just knowing that I had other adults in the house with me, although I did we were on the top floor. We had like a 3 or 4 story house. We were on the top floor. So, and Rocco had an oxygen tank.
Actually, Emma, we had to get the fire brigade over to come and check the house out and set something to do with the alarm because of the oxygen.
Yeah. People do that.
So I think that was, I mean, listen, you know, I've got the most amazing family and amazing friends. And so obviously I had so many people around and there for me. But like everything that seems to happen to me, nobody else around me had ever experienced anything similar. I did get in contact, actually. I sort of reconnected with an old friend. Rocco was home at this point, and I saw that she had her baby early, I think at 30 weeks, and we got in contact, and that was like a nice support system, like knowing, I actually do know. But by that time I'd done like 15 or 16 weeks of it.
So then also actually with when the baby comes early, because you're saying you reconnected with your friend there, and I mean most people, a lot of people do like NCT or whatever, which obviously you didn't have the chance to do. So then what happens with maternity leave for you? Because you have to.
Well, I was
self-employed.
Yeah, I was self-employed anyway, so that was fucked from the start. But yeah, I remember being in that hospital room. So this was in Kent. I think I've had him, and it wasn't like visiting hours in NICU, so I was back in my room, and I remember going online on like .gov or whatever it was and filling out forms, and yeah, so I did all of that myself, literally like days into having him.
Sorry, also, did you just say that visiting hours were over, so you weren't able to go and see your baby at certain times if you wanted to go and see him?
No, that might be a lie.
Okay, I was going to say.
No, we were, so parents were, but also, I remember it being the middle of the night. No one was in the room with me. I remember thinking like, well, I can't sleep, so I might as well go through all of these forms. But you don't want to go in the middle of the night to NICU, because that's the baby's rest time, and it's the nurses, the nurses sit and they'll knit or they'll do their crosswords or whatever, they're doing while they're not prepping milk or meds and so there were I do remember some nights being sat in there, but that was rest time.
Did you breastfeed? Could you breastfeed?
No, because my milk hadn't come in. and he wasn't allowed out of the incubator. So what they do is they do encourage you to pump.
We've got a story about that.
I was going to say, what's funny
Didn't I
about
say
that?
at the beginning? Didn't I say at the beginning of this, the injections in the boobs were the worst pain of my life?
Why are you injecting your boobs?
No.
No.
The steroid injections before he was born,
And
Right.
and then trying to pump boobs that have no milk in them.
I don't know why I'm laughing because it sounds awful.
Oh my God.
I mean, John walked into her bedroom once and she had cabbages over her boobs. And he's
Yeah,
like,
they're
okay,
really good for breastfeeding
shall I
babies.
leave? Yeah, shall I leave? And she's like, no, it's fine. While she's trying to pump. And he's like, this is really weird.
Yeah. So imagine I only had to get out 1 mil an hour. And then what they would do is with that 1 mil, so I remember thinking, if I can just get 10, that's 10 hours worth of not having to pump. And so what they would do is they would take the little like test tube that had the 10 mil in, and they would syringe 1 mil an hour out, and they would put it into his cords or whatever it was, and it feed it straight into his stomach.
Do you know there's a charity, whilst we're on this subject,
There
where
is.
you can, and I actually remember looking into it when I was breastfeeding the girls.
You can
because,
donate your milk.
Yeah, I was really lucky with milk supply, and I was like, I don't know what to do with all this milk. But it's for that exact reason.
Yeah.
But maybe we shouldn't then encourage any of our listeners that are very, very fortunate with their supply, look into the charity, because there are some women and new parents that can't produce the milk.
I do remember the nurses saying to me, if you can't do it, we will get somebody else's milk. And I thought, no fucking way.
And I understand that. I can really understand that, because especially what you're going through already, you're 21.
I was like, let me do something at least. Like, at
Yeah.
least let me give him this. I did it for as long as I could. But then it's actually good to switch them. It's good to switch prem babies onto formula, because formula has the calories. So that gets them growing and that beefs them up a little bit, which is what we want.
Yeah,
So let's just quickly go back to the fact where you said about 3 different hospitals, because when you said like mum was the best support when you were home and he came out of hospital after 3 months, you actually like rented a flat on campus, right? In Kent for a month after you got discharged. They wanted you to come home, but there's no way you're going to leave your baby 2 hours away.
How was I supposed to breastfeed or pump and get him his milk, and if I had to drive 2 hours there and 2 hours back every day? So we managed to, and this was a joke, we actually had to pay for accommodation within the hospital. I don't know if that's changed now, but the only way I could be close to him was if we paid. And this is like no maternity leave, self-employed, completely out the blue, middle of a house renovation, and you have to pay like hundreds of pounds to stay in staff accommodation just to be close to him. And I think he was there.
I hope it's not like that today, because that is so awful to put a new mum who's gone through what you've just gone through and add that on top as well. It's horrible.
Yeah, that was wild. And it was a year that it snowed in November. So heavy. I just, even having the cesarean, walking from like the NICU unit to our room, I just remember being like, I'm gonna slip. But I was in hysterics. At this point, I was just like, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. How am I getting from A to B, like just to the room, let alone getting all the way back to Abbott's Langley where we lived at the time? It's never going to happen. And he was there. He was in Kent for about 3 weeks, and then he got moved to Luton. There was some sort of like bad atmosphere because they only let us come at certain times, and it was when people were at work. So by this point, like, Rocco's dad had to go back to work. My mum was still working and I couldn't drive because I'd had a cesarean. So I was like, how am I supposed to get to him in your visiting hours if I'm stuck at home and I can't drive? So I remember there being a little bit of like uproar there. But thankfully, I think he was only at Luton for 2 weeks. And then finally he got moved back to Watford where he should have been.
Do you remember what that date was?
No, was it the
That
13th?
No, it was a Christmas wish because it was Christmas Eve because we went and saw him we weren't allowed to see him at Luton. They wouldn't let us see him. I think it was only you and his dad that was able to see him at the time. And when he moved to Watford, you were allowed to have visitors.
Yeah.
And Christmas Day, we saw him.
Yeah. So then I remember Boxing Day, he took a turn. He took a turn for the worst. And I remember Christmas Day just like feeling like it's okay, it's Christmas Day, like he's there. I think I was going twice a day. And Christmas Day, I only went once, like in the morning. And I didn't feel good about it. Something like I had this hunch. And then when we got there on Boxing Day, he had a massive mask over his face. And they said his breathing had taken a turn for the worse. So before that, he just had little tubes helping him to breathe. But on this day, Boxing Day, we walked in and there was like this huge mask. And I remember thinking, like, that's your punishment. Like, that is your punishment because you didn't go twice yet. You relaxed on Christmas Day.
That literally makes me want to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I was like, I'm staying here. And then from Boxing Day to February the 20th, I literally was there. Like, I'd be there unless I was working, unless I was teaching. And I remember if I would leave at about 8 o'clock at night, go home, have my dinner, get ready for bed, and I would call them at 11 o'clock and be like, is he okay? Is he asleep? Has he had his last feed? And that was my routine.
You know, this might be a bit of a brutal question.
Go on.
You know where you just said there that when you didn't go and see him that day and then he wasn't well, you thought that was like your punishment. Do you think you have any guilt or like guilty feelings around all of it, like the premature birth, him being in hospital?
No.
Good.
Not other than that Christmas Day. I felt like
I think I hold the guilt.
Gab
So
holds all the guilt. She always has and she always will.
Even now, hearing you talk about this and being a mum now,
does it hit differently?
Hits so differently because I don't feel like I was 18 or 19. I don't feel like I realised at the time. Obviously, I do remember it was nowhere near as traumatic for me as it obviously was for you. Oh, I don't feel like I was there enough for you.
I don't really think anybody knew what to do, and I don't think we knew how serious it was at the time. I always say if this had happened to me the second time round, it would have been a whole different ball game. And I honestly take my hat off to parents who already have children and toddlers and then have a prem baby or a sick baby. And I think it's important to also say, yes, a very traumatic thing happened and it was very scary for us, but we're also very, very lucky. I had a miracle and he's 14, nearly 15, and he is still our miracle.
We always call
and so
him
we
our
are
miracle.
we're really lucky.
Has this his entrance into the world and his first, I don't know, year, has it had any impact on his later life?
No.
You had COVID. You did have a letter because when COVID hit, he was classed as a bit more vulnerable.
He was, because he had chronic lung disease at birth, and he had chronic lung disease for about 6 months. But no, like, and again, so lucky because there are so many premature babies who do have complications throughout their whole lives. But no, not him. He was just tiny.
He was a fighter. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because he is the child that has no fear. Like even now,
I'm gonna love that.
he's got no fear. You could ask him to fly a plane right now, like the first time, and he'd yeah, cool.
Gabs literally said, like, would you like to, what did you say?
What about being a fighter jet pilot?
I was like, are you having a laugh? She was like, Rocco, I think you'd be really good at that. And he was like, oh, actually, like, that seems... Are you being serious?
Yeah, but I love that.
But he would. Like, he's got no... Like, he's really
I feel like me
into...
and Rocco would be good friends. Be a bit of a weird relationship because a lot older than him. But honestly, if he's looking for more friends, I am open to it. I love danger, so you know.
No, but this is why, like, he, again, like firefighter, he'd be a brilliant firefighter because nothing would faze him.
Yeah, although I don't think he quite passed as a firefighter because of his history with his lungs.
Fuck knows.
Which I am the absolute opposite, by the way, because I am riddled with fear.
And anxiety.
Like your sister, right? So there's a resemblance because she's flipping scared of everything as well.
Yeah.
I can't get on board with it. Rocco's more my man, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Hayley, if you were to give someone advice now who was going through a similar situation to you, whatever it might be, like unexpected or traumatic starts to like their baby's life, to motherhood, to everything, what would you give them any advice is my question.
I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I would just say, like, listen to your body. If you're having weird pains and you don't feel like it's normal, say something. If your tits are killing you and you can't breastfeed anymore, stop. If you don't want to stand up for the next hour because your cesarean scar feels like it's going to split, stay sat down. Just be easy on yourself and take every single day as it comes, because it can be a bit of a roller coaster.
Love that. And so I feel like the best advice I ever was given when
Was
having
from
Delilah
me.
was from you. Yeah.
Was it?
Like just in general, like you were so calm, and because I was horrible to you when you arrived at the hospital when Delilah was born. Like you and Mum, I literally was like, "What the
Emma,
hell are
can
you
you
doing?"
see how this is a common theme?
I was just about to say, I see the theme here.
But I love you dearly. I love you dearly, and I could not be without you.
No, but I could just tell how traumatized you were. So
the best advice, yeah, you just
take it out on me.
No, but you just do give the best advice.
I was going to say that I really loved that advice there about if your tits are killing you, stop pumping. Like just stop it, because I could go on about the breastfeeding thing all day, but I think that's good advice for any mum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't put pressure on yourself. Just do what works for you.
No, less pressure, more cabbages. See, and they are my snippets of advice, and that's why they stick.
You should write a book.
You should write a book.
It's on my list of things to do. Do not tempt me.
What, a book of advice?
Just listen, I've got a lot up my sleeve.
You have. I think you should write a book. Right, I want to ask you another question. You've got Ruby, who is nearly 12. She'll be 12 next year. Was your pregnancy the same with Ruby as it was Rocco?
Not.
And was you nervous, or did it scare you at all, even the thought of having another child after the experience you experienced?
Yeah, so if you are classed as high risk, you have more checks anyway. So I think from 12 weeks or from 16 weeks, I had to go to the hospital every 2 weeks to be checked. And I was determined to find out that she was going to be a girl as quickly as possible, because in my head, I was like, as long as I know she's a girl, I know this is going to go a different way. I don't know why. That was my sort of logic. And then I found out she was a girl and I relaxed a little bit. And then she came 5 days late. And
Love that.
it's been a wild ride ever since.
But with that pregnancy, I know you said you relaxed a lot more once you found out she was a girl, and that was probably like your self-preservation, like coping mechanism with it. Do you think that you were still like getting yourself ready for a baby coming at 27 weeks? It's going to be the same as Rocco. It's okay because I've done it the first time, so I can do it again, sort of thing.
I felt like as long as I could get past 27 weeks, it would be fine. Yeah. I remember feeling like the 26, 27 week mark, feeling a bit nervous. And as soon as I got over that, I was like, I've done it before, I can do it again. And then I waited.
What's the age gap between them?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she came late.
Although, like, she's now older than him, which is crazy.
She's older than me.
Oh, bless her.
She has got her shit together, that girl.
That girl.
That girl. Yeah. No, she didn't. She was the opposite. She didn't want to come out, did she? She wanted to stay. She was very happy because you had her by C-section. You didn't actually go into labour with her, right?
And you know what else? Let me tell you this. This is the difference between births as well. So I had 2 cesareans. Rocco was an emergency. Ruby was planned. Loved Ruby's. Loved it. I remember being wheeled in. I remember took Rocco to nursery, went home, had a shower, like put my makeup on. It was great. Laid down. They rummaged around, did what they had to do. And I remember them lifting her up off of, like, you know, like you had the sheet, so you can't see anything. And this almighty scream came out of her, like the whole hospital would have heard. And I was just like, put her back in. I'm not having this. But Rocco couldn't make a sound when he was born. He actually didn't make a sound, I think, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and he sounded like a little mouse. So hearing such this
shriek,
I was like, what the fuck is that?
And I can imagine that you probably said that as well.
Yeah. I was like, nah, they got this one wrong.
Would you, like, going back to both births, would you change anything with either one of them?
Well, I'd absolutely change the whole thing.
Do you not feel like it's moulded you as a person a little bit? Like going through has maybe made you slightly stronger for other things that you've gone through?
I just think I'm really good at going into like
survival mode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether I was good at that before.
That's a skill.
I was definitely good at that after.
Well, when you say that, like, I don't know, to me it's really obvious that you're really good at that, like survival mode, and just like almost shutting off your feelings, doing what needs to be done. This is how we're going to do it. And then once
close the door, have an absolute mental breakdown. Yeah.
And
then move on.
I've already like decided that you were like that, but I'm clearly
maybe I just give off that vibe.
Yeah. Must be it. The fuck off vibe.
Anyway, so it's been a vibe, hey. I've loved this. I really have. But we are going to ask all of our guests the same question at the end of each episode. So,
Are you ready? In one word or sentence, how has becoming a mum changed the way that you see the world?
I think that was it.
Mate, that's a word.
I wouldn't even know where to start. How I view the world. I mean, I definitely know how to pick my battles. You know, before having kids, you could get riled up at things that just do not matter. When there are kids involved and when there are life or death situations or, you know, really horrible things that happen, you have to know where to put your energy.
So, in true Hayley fashion, she's got to cause some sort of a stir. So she decided to leave the recording
No, I
halfway
didn't just
through.
leave.
Say
Right.
My battery went.
Right, she wasn't organised, so her battery died. So now we've brought her back just to say a big thank you
and
because
to say bye and get out of here.
thank you for sharing your story with us. I have wanted you to share your story for a really long time because I think it's so important. Because one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we get about our podcast is how real and honest and open we are with our conversations. And we just want to, with season 2, like we said at the beginning, just have normal, real conversations about situations that actually happen.
Least normal person to come on and talk about the most unrealistic situation. No, joking.
No, but it happens. It happens.
Yeah, of course it does.
And we want to make it a space that people know that it does happen. These things happen. There are people and places that you can reach out to and speak to about, you know, all of these
And
situations.
Also, the outcome isn't always
Negative.
bad. I mean, look at Rocco. It's amazing.
What a guy.
He's your miracle baby. Yeah. What exactly that? What a guy. And so I think there's so many stories like yours where unfortunately it doesn't end in such a nice positive way. So it is, although what you told us and what you went through was awful, the outcome is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's good. It's good to hear it.
That's usually the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you. Oh my God. What? Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with the recording, but I don't know if Gabby's here. I don't know if Hayley's here. And if they're not, then suckers. But thanks so much for listening, and we will see you again next week. Bye, girls, if you're here.